Peace to the cause.
Good afternoon. How y'all doing today?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for having me. I want to thank my brother Suga Ray. Thanks for having me. Thanks for putting all these beautiful people together to build on the issue of social justice, which is a very important issue, obviously, to more than just black people now. And that's a great thing to see. Because when you say social, we're talking about a society. And the only way to have a just society is to get everyone involved in the issues that are important to that society. Thus, we created a project called One World Fest Global. I'll tell you about the genesis of that project. I used to be a part of an organization that produced a festival called the Kwanzaa Holiday Expo every year at the Jacob Javits Convention Center. And it celebrated Kwanzaa, the so-called Black Christmas, right? And it was a great festival. A lot of different people came there every year, but at the same time, we realized that the issue of Kwanzaa was somewhat of a niche festival because it was only targeted towards black people. However, the principles of Kwanzaa were universal principles: cooperative economics, collective work and responsibility,
Self-determined.
purpose, things of this nature. So we said we're going to take those principles and create a universal festival where people could come together of all nations and all races and celebrate those universal principles universally. So we're going to call it the One World Festival. And we said, let's put together this festival, right? So that people of different colors can come together, different nationalities and cultures can come together and celebrate their culture and show appreciation for other people's cultures. We thought that by doing so, it would help to alleviate the fear that divides us as human beings. And when you look at today's society, for right or for wrong, who is the most feared person out here? The black man. Because they've turned us into a boogeyman. That is the only way that an officer who is armed with a 9mm, a taser, a billy club, mace, handcuffs, and everything else can shoot and kill an unarmed black man and say he was the one that feared for his life.
Talk about it.
So One World Fest Global, part of our mission here is to show you the beauty in the black nation, the beauty in black men, the beauty in black culture, and the beauty in brown, yellow, red, and white culture so that we can come together as one nation. Now I see we're here in Queensbridge Projects in Long Island City, which is an area that is being heavily gentrified right now. That means there's people coming from all over the world, countries are coming to this area looking for a better way of life. But the people in Queensbridge Projects, they also deserve a better way of life. They also deserve a better way of life. They also deserve great health care, the opportunity to access financial institutions so that they can provide a better situation for their families. They also deserve better education in schools and things of that nature that are afforded everyone else. So if in fact you happen to just move into this area, we have something we want you to do called Get to Know One World. Get to know your neighbor, because the reason why gentrification is such an issue is because when people move into the community, they don't take the opportunity to get to know the neighbors in the culture of the people that they're moving around. So it can create a conflict. We want you to say peace to your neighbor. Get to know your neighbor, and that will take away the fear that's used to divide us as human beings. So we have a universal message, One World Fest Global. And we all want you guys to be a part of it. We're going to be putting together a festival next year. We're going to invite everybody to come through and be a part of pushing the message forward. Because it's just not important what you do, what happens when you come here. It's more important what you do when you leave. Because it's just not about these movements and these protests and these marches unless you're going to be part of the solution when you leave the protests. If you're not getting out there and voting and seeking policy change, whatever your place is in the struggle, there's a place for all of it. Nonviolent protests, violent protests, as part of it in a righteous rebellion, okay? Economic sanctioning, and planning and strategizing for future progress and policy change. There's a place for all of it in the righteous rebellion. Once you find your place in the struggle, go ahead about the business and don't worry about being judged or the opinions of those who would seek to keep the status quo. Find your place in the project and move forward with your vision. So to that, I say everyone here, we all have a place and we all have a responsibility to move this thing forward just a little bit at a time, because we want our children to come up in a world that is not experiencing the same thing, that doesn't come up in the world and turn on the TV and see cities on fire. The only way they